Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Terraria series. We are going to start by getting into my main world here. Today we're going over items 41 to 80. Explained the rules in the last episode, just a kind of quick refresher. I can go to other worlds, but I can't take anything except for like the one item. So like, for example, I think I use an Anklet of the Wind. You know, if there's a seed with its chest really nearby, then I can go in there. Or like, for example, if I run out of, like if I broke some of my statues in my old world and I just couldn't get them anymore, I need to go to a different world to find them. Yeah, and I just set those up just in case. But yeah, so this is 41 through 80. And you'll notice there's a few in here that aren't items and they're souls of sight, which definitely should come later, but I'll explain those when we get to those. So first we have the flaming arrows. Flaming arrows are another type of arrow. They're probably the first that a lot of people do because it's a nice quick upgrade from just the wooden arrows, because it's just torches and arrows. And that's it. They have a 1/3 chance to inflict on fire, which is just the most basic fire debuff. Still pretty nice. I know the Eye of Cthulhu definitely takes effect from that. Some early bosses do. And then also, what I didn't actually know until I looked at the wiki to have this. They emit a small amount of light even when they're dropped, not just shot. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then you have the shuriken. It's 10 damage, knockback, 12, 10, 12. I got some bonuses for my armor. But most people are gonna find it's gonna be one of the things. Those and the throwing knives are gonna be the stuff that people find. In the chests, or in the pots when you break the pots. The torches, sometimes in gold, but then shurikens and throwing knives are also pretty common, as well as bombs. And then once you get the merchant, which I think it's 20 silver, once you get him, you can actually buy them from him directly. So if you're trying to do like a consumables only run, a lot of people use him for that. But yeah. And then they do have a little bit of piercing, so that's pretty nice, and they're pretty fast, so that's pretty good. And then we have the suspicious looking eyes. This is the way a lot of people, not everybody, because some people just get it randomly, but a lot of people fight their first boss. It's 3 lenses at a demon altar or a crimson altar, depending on which one you have in your world. And it just summons the Eye of Cthulhu, which is a lot of people's first boss. You can get, Demon Knight, which we're coming up on here. And, just like a quick upgrade. It's a lot of people's first bosses. But yeah. And then what I actually do is if I get a lot of these from, like, you get a lot of these in chests as well. These are pretty common in chests. And then if I need lenses or something, I'll throw these in the shimmer and I'll uncraft them. So I just get a bunch of lenses that way instead of having to like farm for lenses. And then we get to the Demonite weapons. So you have the Demon Bow, the War Axe of the Night, and Light's Bane. They're all pretty decent. And you don't need anything else except for Demonite, so you can technically actually get this even before the Eye of Cthulhu, because Demonite has a rare chance to spawn underground, and if you get enough, you theoretically could actually get these. But yeah, I usually use the Light's Bane just because I like to get the Zenith, and this is one of the crafting components for the Terra Blade, which is a part of the Zenith. But yeah. And then this bow pairs pretty well with the unholy arrows as well. Just easy. They're the same material, so it's pretty simple, pretty easy to get them. And then we have, and then these have decent pierce as well. Not necessarily the best, but they're not bad. And then we have the regular chest. I mean, it's the one probably most people see first, just because looking in the little, I don't know, these, whatever these are called, where it's like that little small entrance. It used to be there. This is no longer there anymore. But like you have that small entrance in, and then you just go down in the cave. A lot of people, there's a lot of those types of chests there. And I usually just pick them up from there. But you can craft them with some wood, some iron. I think it's like 2 iron and 8 wood, something like that. And then the Panda Regeneration. So this is another one that you can find in chests, but it is yeah, it's another one you can find in chests, but it's way better than the step stool or whatever that was earlier. Gives you, a little bit of life regen. It's pretty nice, and then you can use it to make a lot of good stuff. Charm of Myths, a lot of people use. So that and a Philosopher's Stone that you get from Mimics. It gives you some extra life regen. It's really nice. It's a very nice early one to have. And it stacks with other types. So like you could have a Band of Regeneration and a Charm of Myths, and they would stack. I'm pretty sure they stack. Magic Mirror, this is like everybody needs. This is like your precursor to the shell phone. It's the best. I hate using recall potions. I want to get a Magic Mirror as fast as I can in all my playthroughs. But yeah, so it's, and you can craft them. Before I thought you couldn't, but you can. Some diamonds, recall potions, other stuff, and then another one that people like, Jester's Arrows. It's got pretty much almost infinite piercing, and it's just really good for the Destroyer of Worlds, a lot of those worm type bosses, right? Because it just kind of goes through multiple segments, does damage to multiple ones. It also, emits some light, not as much as the torches, but a little bit. And then it does kind of like the, when the fallen stars hit the ground, it does kind of that effect a little bit. And then this is one of the only statues that you can actually craft, the angel statue. It's purely decorative. It does not do any special effects or anything. This is one of the only ones you can craft with just stone. Yeah. And then you have the Cloud in the Bottle. Another one of my personal favorites. I prefer these to Hermes boots. I know it's a crazy take, but I like Cloud in the Bottle. Just having that double jump so early is nice for maneuverability. Sure, the speed from the Hermes boots is good, but I really like the double jump. And then, obviously everybody's favorite, Hermes boots. Really fast. It's a really easy way to beat a lot of bosses. It just helps so much, and with early game speed, so you don't have to use those speed potions and stuff. And you have the Enchanted Boomerang, very early upgrade to the regular wooden boomerang if you're lucky enough to find one. And it also is part of the Trimarang, which is the Flamarang, Enchanted Boomerang, and the Frozen Boomerang. I forgot what the actual name for that one is. And Trimarang's pretty fun. But yeah, this is also, pretty decent weapon. It's not terrible. It's got some decent range. It's kind of slow, but it's not bad. And as you said before, the Demonite bar. I have way too much of it, but yeah, those are those. And then to get to the soul. So the soul site is there as a placeholder because item number 58, which is that one right there, is a heart that drops when you're on low health and you kill an enemy, or less than full health basically, and you kill an enemy. That is what this item slot is for. I don't know why they made that an item, but there's no way to physically pick those up and put them in a chest. So that is just a placeholder for that. You'll see there's a couple more of those with varying circumstances. Then you have the corrupt seeds. You grow the corruption biome, vile mushrooms. That's what you use to, or that grows on the corruption. You can use that to make vile powder, which you can use to make the worm food and other things. And it also just spreads the corruption by throwing the powder. And then the soul site is there for no reason. Because that is... Okay, cut. Okay, uncut. So what? The technical difficulty there. It actually is not a soul site there. I thought this was the Mana Star, but it is not the Mana Star. It is actually just Ebonstone, and I was using Ebonstone since I had so much of it as a placeholder, so I got confused when removing it. But that is the actual place where Ebonstone is supposed to be. Grass seeds, you can use you can collect these. You get these from all sorts of different things, but you can also buy these from the Dryad as well. Sunflowers. I did not realize these gave you a reduced enemy spawn rate and also just a little bit of a, I believe, a speed buff as well. Or it might be defense. Probably speed. Yeah, pretty cool. I just had some randomly. Then we have the Vile Thorn, which is one of your first magic weapons. Actually, I think it's the first magic weapon on the list so far. But it is just a small, kind of a vine, and it's pretty good for like the worm type enemies, like we were talking about with the Jester Arrows before. If you're going the magic route, because it just kind of leaves it there, and then as they run through it, it damages them multiple times. It's pretty nice for that. As you get these from the Demonite orbs that are in the corruption. But there's a lot of better options for magic, but this is good for like specifically the worms. And then you have the Agile Star Fury, but this is a very nice early melee weapon. You know, the Fallen Stars. So you can actually have some range. It's the first weapon that I think of when I think of like secondary effects on weapons. You know, I definitely think of this. And again, it's another part of the Zenith, so you know, I love it. And then Purification Powder. It's the same thing. It's sold by the Dryad. You can also, yeah, I don't think you can. But yeah, no, it is just, yeah, it's sold by the Dryad. It cleanses the corruption and whatnot. It is early, or it's available pretty early, not super early, but. And then you have the Vile Powder, which you make with the Vile Mushrooms from before. Then you have the Rotten Chunks that you get from Eater of Souls, and it is a crafting material for a lot of different items. Worm food is probably one of the most prominent. Also, you can make leather with it to make clothes and other stuff. And then you have the Worm Tooth, which you get
from the Devourers that are in the underground corruption, which is also where the orbs are, and they drop usually 5 to 8, 100% of the time.
And then you have the Worm Food, which summons the Eater of Worlds. You have to use this in the corruption, and you can't do it too far away from a large amount of blocks, because then he'll just despawn. It's happened a lot in the stuff that I've seen. So yeah, you can't go too far away. And then you have the different currencies, different coins here. 100 copper, 1 silver, 100 silver, 1 gold, 100 gold, 1 platinum. It's currency, it's essential. You get a lot of the stuff from the NPCs, you can get a lot of good stuff to help, just in general. And then you have Fallen Stars. So this is the ammo for the Star Cannon and its upgrades, which is a pretty busted range weapon. It's super good. And then you can also use these to make mana crystals to increase your max mana by 20. Right, and I've already maxed mine out. But early on in the game, you just need a bunch of these to start, and then as you played longer, as I have, you just kind of get them. And then this is kind of like the first set of 4 armors, right? The pre-hard mode, the original set of pre-hard mode. So if we go back, look at this, right? The iron, the copper, the gold, and the silver. These are the first set of ores, and then you have the counterparts, being lead, tin, platinum, and tungsten, right? But then this is the first set of armor you can make with those. So the copper version, iron version, silver, and gold. nothing crazy on those. A lot of people skip over them to other things, and then they're not gonna go through in depth. But then those are just the rest of the other ones. So yeah, so that's 41 to 80. So if you guys enjoyed, or you have any things you want to see differently, then just let me know in the comments. See you later. Have a good one.